Like, who's that in the background?
It's a ghost. Dun dun dun. Haunted Airbnbs. Next video.
There. That'll be in the outtakes.
Hey kids, I'm Kamal.
I'm Selena.
And we're with the City and Beyond. In today's video, we're in Bumblebee, Pennsylvania visiting Selena's mom. We're going to answer the question, how do we choose an Airbnb? And we're also going to show you the Airbnb that we're presently in.
Remember to subscribe because we're on our journey to 1,000 subscribers. We officially only need 400 more subscribers to get there, and we really appreciate all the people who've subscribed so far. It really means a lot to us.
So, for the last 5 to 6 years, we've stayed at over 41 Airbnbs in 9 different countries.
Including this one. So we're kind of experts on this.
And we booked them for ourselves, with family, with friends. We've even hosted a Thanksgiving in one.
And funny story, we were supposed to have an Airbnb wedding in a Vancouver Airbnb listing, but it got removed before we can actually have our ceremony there. But we have a whole destination wedding series playlist. Just go look for it.
And if you'd like to see some of our Airbnb room tours, you can find them in our IGTV, as well as our vlogs for Lancaster and Asheville. Link, as always, is in the description.
Today we are going to talk about how we choose our Airbnbs, give you a couple brief tips. But if you want to know more about hacks or stories about Airbnbs we've been in, leave us a comment below asking for it. In the meantime, let's get started.
So the first thing to consider is who is staying with you. For example, if it is kids, you may not want a higher end fancy place because you don't want to have to worry about your kids accidentally breaking something.
Or it's stressing you out the whole time. You feel like, don't touch that. Or stains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If that's happened to us before with our friends' kids, we were all kind of stressed out. But when it's a little bit more lived in home, it's a little bit easier to maneuver the whole time.
Maybe it's other couples. You need to decide what level of privacy you're willing to have with the other person. Is it going to be a sheet in between you? Is it going to be 2 beds in the same room? Do you need your own separate rooms? These are things you're going to need to discuss with the other people you're staying with before you decide to book one of your places. Ideally,
we go for at least 2 bedrooms, especially if it's just one other couple. But it's a discussion to have because somebody might be fine with the sofa bed.
The other thing to consider is if a person has disabilities, will they need a ramp perhaps, or an accessible bathroom?
In this case, where we are right now, my mom actually has a disability, and so we wanted to make sure that we didn't get anywhere where it had like a 2-floor walk-up or like a 2nd floor, a 2-family home with like a 2nd floor or something like that, or somewhere where she has to walk up and down stairs. And but I didn't actually make sure that we had an accessible like bathroom situation. So as you'll see in the tour, we have just a shower, but it would have been much better if we had also a tub.
So the next point is you should list what's important for you, your non-negotiables, because if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to find it.
And for example, I don't like the heat. And so if we're going to a destination, whether it's another country or city that's usually really hot, I'm always about us checking off that AC button for the filters. And or if it's just summertime in that location, when we're gonna visit.
Yeah.
Another one is private bathrooms.
That one's for me. If you gotta go, you gotta go. And I don't know how other people handle their bathroom situation with the shared bathroom experience. I'd rather just be able to walk in. And I know if you stay with other people, then you gotta juggle with them, but you likely know those people and their bathroom habits before you go. It's just a me thing. If it's not a you thing, you don't have to worry about it.
This is an example. Yeah. But we have done the shared bathroom thing, and actually,
it's worked out.
It's worked out.
I'd like to emphasize rarely. Okay.
The next thing we want to touch on is what to pay attention to. So one of the things we try to pay attention to is how comfortable everyone is going to be, each guest. So if it's just the two of us, it's kind of easy. But I know like what Kamal likes, and he knows what I like in our accommodations. So it's pretty easy. But when there's, you know, other family members or friends, people involved, we do try to make sure that things that they prefer are also included in the accommodations.
The other point to consider is the location of it. Is there something that you're there to see in particular that you want to be near to, or you're okay with going a little bit to? Is it walkable in the area? If you don't have a car with you, maybe you'll take a taxi from the airport or however you got there. Is there parking on the premises? If there's not parking on the premises, is it like a suburban area where you can just park on the street and it's not going to be a problem?
And if it's an urban area, just to touch on that as an example, urban environments for some people are very acceptable, for others not, which is totally their, you know, prerogative.
Right.
For us, we don't mind being in more urban environments, but we are just conscious of like our surroundings. For example, making sure the backseat of our car is completely emptied out, so there's no need for anyone to break in our vehicle for anything that we left in the backseat. Just as an example. But you need to figure this out before you book versus after you book. Look up the neighborhoods and know the neighborhoods in the city or destination that you're making this reservation in.
If you've never booked an Airbnb before, they will not give you the exact address until you book it, but they will give you an idea of the neighborhood that it is in. So feel free to,
really great.
Yeah, so feel free to Google it and look up some of the things that you want. They got plenty of things, crime rates, walkability, parking, etc. Another thing we look for is decent photos. Now, we're not asking for professional grade photos. That's perfectly fine. Because I know that Airbnb helps out certain hosts and gives comes in and takes professional photos for them, but 9 times out of 10 your smartphone is going to do the job, and you have lights hopefully in your Airbnb that you're looking at, so they can turn them on and take decent pictures of it.
And there's times where things are listed like beds. It's like there's a king bed in the bedroom, but there's like a common space sofa bed or something like that, and they only take a picture of the bedroom, and you're like, is there a couch somewhere? They don't even show you that side of the living room.
Yeah.
If you need that sofa bed and it's very pertinent to your stay, you need to contact the host directly. And I believe that they can actually send you photos if you do request them. I've only sent a photo like one time via the messenger on Airbnb, so I'm pretty sure they can also send you photos. And make sure that what you need is there. There's times where it's like 3 pictures for a whole apartment.
And it's not good angles.
And it's not good angles,
Yeah.
and it's not everything.
Right.
It doesn't even show you like the bathroom or like the bare essentials of the place.
Right. As a personal aside, I can speak for myself and kind of for Selena, she'll let you know if she agrees with me. I have apprehension if I look at something and they start showing like sites and views in the area and not pictures of the actual establishment, especially if the pictures are like mediocre. It's like, I mean, that's why I'm going there, so why are you showing me these pictures? Like, I already know it's in the area, that's why I'm looking at it. That might not be a turn off for you, but that's a complete turn off for me.
Yeah, especially if it could be avoided. Like, it's not one of the only listings.
Right.
I would definitely go to another one. If you have 3 pictures of the apartment, but there's like 10 pictures of stock photos
Right.
of your neighborhood or city.
Reviews. When it comes to reviews, we like to go back kind of as far as possible and as recent as possible. Far back as possible to see kind of the context and how long they've been doing it, and as recent as possible to see if they've actually been maintaining that level of quality. There's a lot of nuances when it comes to reviews that we can't cover in this video alone. If you'd like to see a video about how to sift through Airbnb reviews, let us know in the comments below. I just want to emphasize it's for guests only. I can't help you hosts.
Although we could,
yeah, we could, but yeah, we're specifically speaking about being a guest.
The other set of reviews is you really need to see like what's like relative or important to you like if there's something that someone's complaining about but you don't really mind that thing, then you really shouldn't consider that review that bad, especially including if it's repetitive. Whereas there's another example of that where you need to really consider it in the context of the review. So for example, right now we're in the woods in this Airbnb, and so if there was a review on this listing saying there's a lot of bugs in this Airbnb, we would be like, you're in the middle of the woods, there's a lot of moths and other flying insects that I've never seen before, and it's fine because we're in the woods.
Right.
Someone opened the door, someone left the door open or window open, it happens. Whereas if it happened on a listing that's in Philadelphia in the inner city and it's an apartment building, that's a no-go, because the insects that they're probably referencing is cockroaches, water bugs, bed bugs, maybe ants. So like it's a big difference.
Right.
So you just need to see how relative it is to the listing, or how relative is it to the priorities of you as the guest.
So when you see the ratings, you should like look at it with a fine-tooth comb and be like very mindful, I guess. Be mindful of what they're saying in the reviews so that you know that like it's pertinent to the actual listing itself.
Hopefully these tips were really useful. We're going to show you a tour of our current Airbnb in which we got using these tips.
Well, we gotta pack up the car and head out of here. So hopefully these tips helped you with picking your Airbnb. In a future video, we'll let you know how we choose between B&Bs, resorts, and hotels. But until then, we'll see you next week. Bye.